All right. Hey guys, I'm here with Mark Lim, and this is something that has been a long time coming. I would probably expect that quite some of you would have known at least a bit about Mark by now because I talked quite a fair bit about him. But in the off chance you're not well versed with who he is and or what he may represent to you as well. So basically, right, this whole podcast that we're doing right now is that it's basically how is it possible to make money and raise capital even though you may be brand new or you feel that you are, you got maybe a short end of the stick. And I just want you to know that people like Mark have been in your shoes. So, Mark, I think let's not waste any time. Let's just kick this off. And for this whole thing to
Sounds
make
good.
sense, right? I think it'd be interesting to first of all see like where you were at when you first got started. Because I know between you and me, when I first got to know you, it was around the I think one of the worst times possible in human history, yeah, 2020 COVID lockdowns. And I think your situation was quite unique. Maybe just share with us, like, what was it like for you at that point in time?
Yeah. So at that point in time, as you mentioned, it was like at the peak of COVID lockdown. I think it was the first lockdown itself, right?
Mhm,
So just a bit of background. I was actually running my family business back then,
mhm,
and and I'm really not exaggerating because like at that point, all my money was in the family business to keep it alive. So
mhm.
like with every business, you need cash flow, and we will had like 12 months of cash flow, and 12 months we thought like okay lah, 12 months is decent. Lockdown is only going to be for 2 weeks, right? But then we all know how that ended up. So our cash flow started to dwindle, and our runway started to get shorter and shorter. So then eventually I said, like, I need to do something to make some money because I have bills to pay. I have a family. I was married then. I had my first kid, and then that's when I reached out to Edmund and say, like, hey, I need to upskill, right? So can you
Can you
teach
just
me
clarify
some
what
skills? Yeah.
business were you in at that time, huh?
So it was in the construction industry. We did sports flooring. So like right now, like pickleball courts, basketball courts. So we built these facilities, you see. And at that point, we had jobs, but we couldn't do it because, construction
Yeah,
wasn't an essential service. So
yeah.
then obviously
Imagine
we're
being
tied
labeled
up.
non-essential. I think
Yeah,
that's like
yeah,
like
exactly. So like infrastructure in general
mm,
couldn't move, not just us, right?
mm,
So yeah, that was where we are, and that was that situation that I was in at that moment, lah.
mm. Well, what a time to be in, yeah. So I mean, can we just like fast forward a little bit to like maybe the next 12 or even 24 months later? Like what has changed for you at the time and for your business here?
Yeah. So um just to share a bit more as well.
Oh
So
yeah, I think yeah, let's go
yeah,
ahead.
for me to actually get started, because I had very little cash left in my bank account. And then I think I reached out to you, and I think that's why you probably remember this situation as well. So I was very serious about it, and then Edmund was very, very kind. He said, like, okay, why don't you just put down a certain amount of money just as a deposit to show that you're serious about getting started? And I said, okay, sounds like a good deal. So I actually put down a certain amount of deposit that we both agreed on. And then I had to take on a credit card loan to get started, right? So, of course, it was a calculated risk on my end, right? I'm not advising everyone to go and do the same thing. Please take calculated risk. So I felt like, after speaking to Edmund, I felt like, okay, this is a skill that I can definitely use. It's something that I can upskill myself with, and that's when I decided, like, okay, that's where I need to jump right in. So I think you asked like what was the first 12 months like, was it?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So the first 12 months, I remember the moment I got access to the course, right? I was like, I really cannot waste any time. Let me jump right in. So I literally stayed up. I think I binge watched all the videos. I did the exercises as well. So I didn't just like binge watch and like didn't do anything. Like, because I remember your videos like video one, okay, go and learn how to do a landing page now, right? Then video two, go and learn how to set up an ad account. So I did everything like within like 24 hours. I stayed up late. I woke up early. I say like, I was a man on a mission lah, essentially. Okay, so in the first 12 months, I had to make enough money to pay back my loan first. Because every month I had a fixed amount. I had to pay it back, else I'm going to be in trouble, right? So that was my goal. That was my mission. That's why like I had to really like work and work fast. Okay. So yeah, then it was just like learning as fast as I can and then doing everything that you told me to do. Because you said do postings every day, reach out to your network, tell people. So that's exactly what I did as well. So yeah, so that was the first 12 months. Yeah.
All right, cool. And I think it feels like you might have a bit more to add here, right? From what I'm seeing that you're sharing here, like what only like changed for you in your business? Because like in 12 months you made back enough just to pay your loan, right? But maybe in the next 12 months, did anything else change as well?
So after the first 12 months,
Mm-hmm.
things started because I started to get some wins. I
Mm-hmm.
started to get some case studies, as we call it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if it's small wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times when we start off, I remember when I started also, I felt like, "Ayo, but these wins are so insignificant."
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's why the mentorship and the community that you have is so important because I remember reaching out to you. I remember like posting in the community as well. I'm like sharing
Mm-hmm.
this stuff and people were like, hey, like a win is a win. Like don't kick yourself lah. Like, hey, it's still a win,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take that, use that, celebrate it, share about it. You don't have to boast or brag about it or like, like right until like so outrageous. Just share exactly what you did. And so that's exactly what I did, right? I just shared my wins. And then it just started to snowball from there, right? Then I started to get referrals, started to apply for other jobs on the Facebook groups. And I started to share value and, add people on Facebook and
Mm-hmm.
one thing led to another. And yeah, it's been about 4 years, coming up to 5 years already, in
Nice.
fact.
Okay, maybe we want to clarify a little bit about the jobs that you're talking about, right? Because clearly, with a bit of context, the jobs you're talking about here are agency work, right?
Yes, it was agency work.
Digital agency work.
That's right. It was digital agency work. It was for business owners or people who
Mm-hmm.
needed paid ads because at the
Mm-hmm.
time, that was all I focused on. It
Right.
was just paid ads at the time. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and can we say that you consider yourself, I think you told me before you consider yourself a full stack marketer. Can you tell us a little bit about that as well?
Yeah, so right now I'm a full stack marketer. So when I started, I focused solely just on paid ads. I just got really good at paid ads because
Mm-hmm.
I remember that was your advice to me as well. I remember you
Mm-hmm.
said don't chase shiny objects and stay focused. So I think that was one of the best piece of advice I ever gotten. So I kept my head down, just focused on paid ads. I think about a year and a half later, I realized that I need to get better at writing copy as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then I also picked up copywriting, learned how to write copy, and
Mm-hmm.
then I merged these two skills together.
I think we go specific. You said pay ads to start out Facebook first, right?
Just Facebook first only.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even bother touching. Now I can do Google and everything as all, but for the first
Nice.
year and a half,
Mm-hmm.
in fact, for the first two years, I would say it
Mm-hmm.
was just solely Facebook ads only.
First 2 years, huh? Right.
Easily first 2 years, right? And
Yeah.
then, like I said, from Facebook ads, I upskilled to learn a bit more about copy, get better at copy. And then only I started to go like, okay, now I have bigger wins under Facebook ads. I say like, okay, now it's time to then go into Google ads.
Right.
So
Okay. I
so
need to
yeah.
just interject a little bit, not for you in particular, but for those of you who are listening to this right now, especially, I'm not going to mention any names here, but if any of you had asked me, like, I think after you spend like $5 a day, 1 week later, you say, can you teach me how to do YouTube ads or TikTok and what have you guys? You heard it from Mark himself. First 2 years alone, dedicated to only FB, and he wasn't like, putting one feet into somewhere else and another feet into somewhere else, or maybe dipping his fingers in another place.
Yep.
Focus. He's a man of focus and perseverance.
No,
Amazing.
100%. And that
Yeah.
advice came from you. So like I really just like because at that time when I joined, right,
Mhm.
when I
Mhm.
learned from you, I was like a child. That's really the best way to learn, right?
Mhm.
Don't there's going to be a lot of distractions out there,
Mhm.
but you've committed to this program, you've committed to this community,
Mhm.
maximize, learn,
Mhm.
right? There's enough. Honestly, that's enough for you to
Yeah.
do for at least 2 years. No problem. Like really, that's why I say like, and just to add a bit, because at that time I know a lot of other people started around the same time. I mean, not in your program, but
Mhm.
eventually I met and I networked a lot of
Mhm.
other people
Right.
as well in other programs,
Mhm.
and they got distracted. They were like, I want to do a bit of this, do a bit of that, do a bit of this. Then it eventually amounted to nothing. Or you spread
Mm.
yourself too thin. So I think like the advice you gave me and like to the rest of you who are watching and listening as well, I think like just listen to Edmund in that sense, right?
Mhm.
Stay focused, don't get distracted. Once you nail Facebook ads, then you can start exploring. Yeah. So that's what I mean by a full stack marketer. And then right now, just to share about 5 years later, I started an agency
Mhm.
with my wife, and we are working with clients from America, Australia, UK, and of course Malaysia as well.
Mhm.
But what we mean when we say full stack marketer is that we don't just do paid ads for them.
Mhm.
We come in, we craft offers, we look at what's going on in their business, and then we tell them like what we can do for them, what they can do both online,
Mhm.
and my wife actually helps me on the offline part of things as well. So a more holistic and complete view of marketing right now. And that's what I do essentially. Yeah.
That's awesome, Mark. Okay, I hope this is not a very intrusive question. If you don't mind
Sure.
sharing this here as well. I mean, we had a chat about this already, but I feel it's a bit funny as well because I didn't know about it until much later. Concerning your wife, and I only found that out when she did a public post. You remember, I WhatsApp
Yep.
you about it.
Yep. Yep.
Is it okay? You just share that funny part, a bit of like an epilogue in a way. After you achieve all this success, you're backing in like comfortably four, if not five figures a month, right? Whether it's in
Yep.
Malaysia ringgit or USD, which I think is a very nice like I don't call it happily ever after because life still goes on, right?
Yep.
But it's
Yep.
quite a nice like you wrap up that episode behind you on 2020, and a
Yep.
few years later you feel like everything, all your efforts have been justified. But I
Definitely.
think it's a very funny episode regarding your wife who initially disagreed because she came from a different type of marketing. You don't mind sharing a little bit about that? I think that's going to be
Oh,
funny.
definitely, definitely. So when I first joined, so I don't know how much of the course you guys have gone through, but I think Edmund will share as well. So like what we do a lot is what we call direct response marketing, right? And my wife, she came from like the big agencies, right? So I wouldn't mention the agency, but she came from a very big advertising agency, right? If you are in marketing, you definitely know it. So she come from what we call more traditional marketing, right? So like billboards, radio, newspaper, and all these things, you see. So when I told her that I was going to learn how to do Facebook ads, she looked at me and she go like, what do you mean? She said, I've been in marketing for like 5 to 6 years. Like I can show you what it is. Then I'm like, okay. I mean, I was open to it. I say like, sure, why not, right? I mean, okay, you show me. So she showed me. I wouldn't say it's wrong, but she showed me a different aspect of Facebook marketing, right? And then when I learned from Edmund, and then I started jumping into this whole direct response space, and I go like, wow, okay. So it seems like there's two sides to the coin right now, right? And I come from a very unique perspective because I come in fresh. By the way, just to let you know, I come from an engineering background. I have a chemical engineering degree, but I never worked a day as an engineer. I went into consulting, so like I have zero marketing background, zero. Right? Sales, yes, I have sales background, but I have zero marketing background. So when I learned from Edmund and I learned from my wife, it was a very interesting perspective from where I stood. So yeah, that's why my wife was like, "What is this thing going on?" And like she said, "Are you sure we're not getting scammed or whatever?" you know. But I
Yeah, I
assured
saw that
her,
post.
yeah, yeah, and I showed her, and on a hindsight, of course, she looked back. She go like, yeah, okay, we are glad we took that calculated risk because, like I said, it was still a calculated risk at the end of the day. Yeah,
Yeah, I know you can laugh about it right now, but I imagine it probably was not easy for both of you because if I were to put myself in both your shoes, right? On one hand, you being in your shoes, right? Do you listen to your wife or do you listen to some guy that you just like barely knew on the internet? So I know that's like quite, you talk about calculated risk. I know it's not easy.
no, it
And,
wasn't. It
and,
wasn't.
and then for
Yeah,
your wife, I mean, if I had a chance to meet her whatsoever, I would like to thank her for at least despite the arguments or disagreements, right? She
yeah,
still gave you the room to
definitely,
prove
definitely.
it.
Yeah,
I do
yeah,
not know of many people who would allow that, whether spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend, or even family member for that matter. I think some of
yeah,
you who are listening to this right now, the reason I kind of like bring this up, because sometimes it's not just about strategy. Strategy can be taught, but
100%.
sometimes it could be the people around you who pull you back somehow. And this could be the people you love or people that supposed to care for you. And it
Yeah,
puts you in an unnecessarily or unusually difficult position. I mean, I think
yeah,
making money online is already challenging as it is. Then you got to plus that as well. And I'm just glad
yeah.
that not only you pull out of it, but today I see that both of you are working like hand in hand in tandem. And I think it's like literally a marriage made in heaven, or figuratively speaking as well. You
To
don't
some
really get
extent,
that. You,
we
you don't
thank
really, yeah. You don't
we
hear this
thank
very
God for that,
often.
definitely. Yeah,
You
but
don't hear this very often. So I mean,
yeah,
naturally, right? We talk about where you started, and we're happy to know where you're at right now. I think a lot of people listening to this right now, they can relate to this, and I would say without exaggeration, they want to be where you're at right now. So right, of course, we like to know a bit more about what happened in between as well, and that's kind of like why we're doing this, like sharing in a way.
yep, yep.
So a lot of people, I would say, they were like you in a way. At the starting point, nothing much, and I think a lot of us operate from a position of scarcity. That's just how it is, right?
100%, yeah,
Yeah. So
100%.
maybe, but unlike most people, right? Even today with AI and all that, right? Supposedly there's a lot more resources than there were 5 years ago or 6 years ago, right? You somehow managed to make it work at a time. So, in your own opinion, right, what do you think you did differently compared to those people you say who started at the same time and they didn't
Mm,
succeed yet?
yeah. So I think just to reiterate
Mhm.
what I've been saying, focus.
Yeah.
That's one very important thing. And like what Edmund shared and what we shared earlier, I really started at the peak of COVID, and really not to
Yeah.
like exaggerate or make it sound extra
Mhm.
spicy, but I at a point I also had to consider selling my house. Because like I said,
Oh.
my money was locked up in the family business, right?
Mm.
Uh, we were short on cash, right? I had no income. I mean, I was still drawing a bit of salary from my family business, but it wasn't enough to cover my day to day, right? And I really had to figure out a way to make money lah. Because I just need, just to stay alive. So to a large extent, I had no choice at that time, right? I had no choice. But I'm sure a lot of people were in a very similar situation as well. So, right? A lot of people went through very difficult times, you know. So if you feel like you're at a point of your life where you really had no choice, have no choice as well. So the first thing I think we need to do is that panic, feel scared, feel nervous, but give yourself 5 to 10 minutes to do that only. Because honestly, for me, like when I say I have no choice because I have a wife and I have a child. She was only 1 year old at the time. So I cannot just like sit down and panic all day night. So instead of panicking, or once I'm done panicking, I actually wrote down my plan. And this was actually one of the ways I actually managed to convince my wife to give me that chance. Right. So you need to have a plan. You can't just say like, oh, I'll do it. If we still have to figure it out one. No matter what, we still have to figure it out along the way. But you need to at least have a certain plan. The plan that I had back then does not make sense now. I had to throw it out altogether, but you still need to have a plan, right? So I had a plan. So I wrote down like how many people do I need to call? How many people do I need to close, right? Then like what Edmund shared with me in the first few days or so, he said like you just have to talk about what you do every day. And that's what I did. I just shared whatever knowledge I have about, Facebook ads, whatever knowledge I had about paid ads, I just shared. My post at that point, really, I just got 5 likes. Of the 5 likes, one is from my mother, one is from my wife, and one is from Edmund.
Yeah, I remember that too.
I'm not even kidding. You can go to my Facebook profile, you scroll down, or you can actually sort Facebook now, you can find by year.
Yeah.
You find by year, you find my early post 2020, 2021, in fact, also. I think almost for a whole year. Like I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not like I do this for like 7 days and then things became better. I think for almost a whole year I wrote without almost no engagement, right? And then Edmund will be the first to like, my mother will like it, and then my wife will like it. I'm serious, but I shared. But then you feel like, oh, but I'm just new. What do I know? That's precisely it. You just share what you know. You don't have to make it up. Don't fake it till you make it. I don't believe in all these things. Honestly, I don't believe in it. I didn't have to fake it till I make it. I just shared what I know. However little I know, I shared. However much I know, I shared. People will appreciate, right? You may not be able to get the big clients, or the clients are going to pay you a lot of money back, upfront and stuff like that. But that's fine, because honestly, when you're starting off, you won't be able to work with clients like that as well. Because you don't have the skill set and you don't have the emotional capacity to work with clients like that. I can tell you that. So I'm very grateful, and through my sharing as well, so I managed to get speaking engagements. People actually reach out to me, and at that time everybody was webinar crazy.
Mm.
So I was invited to one or two webinars to do sharings as well, and from there I actually managed to get clients as well. Also, you see, so
Mhm.
so that's how I did it. Like, but don't get me wrong. Every day was still like wake up, still
Mhm.
felt anxious, still had a bit of nervousness. Like, yo, is this gonna work out? Am I gonna get clients? But focus, trust the process, and do the work. You really just have to do the work.
Right. I think this might lead to the next natural question, right? Since
Hmm.
we spoke at length, and of course, I know I was along with you on the journey on this one.
Yep.
Was this
Yep.
also precisely how you got your first client as well?
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about the first client? I think enough time has passed already. We would like to know more about this first client.
So the first client was very interesting.
Yeah.
I actually called up the people on my list first. So I made
Okay.
a list, right? I think at that point, because obviously it's unique to my situation, because I think we got on a
Mhm.
call, one of the one-on-one calls we had. And
Mhm.
then I
Yeah.
think you told me like, okay, why don't you list down all the business owners in your contact list that you can actually reach out to? So that's what I actually did. So I listed
Oh,
out
I
all
gave
this.
such an MLM kind of approach to you.
Yeah. I think because that time you were fresh off BNI and everything as well. So if you remember.
Oh yeah, and I think your situation at the time, yeah, as you had also mentioned, it was a bit unique. And I guess sometimes, right,
Unique,
I don't really
yes.
like to use this word, but sometimes if a beggar can't be choosers, right, you gotta
Oh,
make do with
100%.
whatever you have, right?
100%. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, you did a listing and then.
So I did a listing and then I started calling. I was like, hey, hey bro, Mark here. I just started learning how to do Facebook ads, and I want to try it out, or no, I want to help you. I don't say try it out, sorry. I want to help you with some of your paid marketing. You don't have to pay me a single cent, but you do have to pay for the ad spend,
Mm-hmm.
right? Just give me 14 days. If things work out fine and you enjoy working with me, then we continue to work for 30 days, and then only you pay me at the end of 30 days. If not, I just appreciate the testimonial, and then, we move on.
Mm.
So from that alone, I managed to get like three people who said yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Awesome. I remember the first person, it was something to do with dragon fruit selling. Was this person
Yeah.
among them? I
Yes,
thought it was
he
very
was. He
unusual.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
was a
yeah.
lady,
So
right?
it was a family business. So it was a brother and sister.
Oh, sibling. Okay.
And you know what's interesting? Until today, even though I'm not working with them, I'm still in touch with them. You see how, yeah. So that's why I say like just be genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was genuine. I didn't honestly like for you guys who are listening, right? I didn't oversell myself. I didn't say like, oh, I'm gonna get you this amount, or I'm gonna guarantee like, or like, all this big talk and everything that you see. I didn't. I was absolutely genuine. I say like, hey, look, I really just learned this, right? I've practiced it myself. I put about I because I actually did. I actually put like I think about 50 to 100 ringgit to run it myself, my own
Mm-hmm.
ads. And I say like, and I want to do it for other businesses now. So just be honest, just be genuine in what you have to offer. So those were the guys that I started working with. And then at one point, and then at that point, there was a Facebook group that was like people were asking as well. Oh no, we need people to run paid ads. We need to run paid ads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I actually responded to a Facebook post,
Mm-hmm.
right? And everybody was like DM, 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 DM. But I'm like, no, if I'm gonna share, I'm just gonna share it in the comment. So I was like, hey, 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 person, you're doing this. So this is what I've done before. This is the lead gen that I did because she wanted lead gen.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I did before, and this is the cost per leads that I've gotten. If you're up for it, I'm happy to have a chat with you. So of all the 20, 30 plus comments, she reached out to me because offered value upfront. You tell people upfront straight what you can do, right? And
Is it
then
okay to reveal what this Facebook group was at the time?
I think the group is no longer here already.
Oh, okay. Well, it was some kind of local entrepreneur group, I believe.
Something, yeah, because at that time, right, there was
Yeah.
so many entrepreneur groups. There were entrepreneur groups, there was marketing groups. I think some of it also,
Mm.
like it sort of died off already, lah.
Right.
But yeah, so we talked about it. She eventually worked with me for I think close to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
And until today,
Mm-hmm.
because of her, I managed to take the wins from her. She was actually doing a MLM, but she wasn't
Okay.
selling products. She was actually doing a recruitment.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I just to share with all of you here, it is actually against Facebook's advertising policy to advertise for MLM, right? So please don't. I didn't know back then. I
Mm-hmm.
was like super cowboy, just do. Nearly got my ad account. I actually got my ad account banned, and then Edmund actually helped me. I don't know, Edmund. Do you still send out that resource, that
Yes,
secret
I did.
resource?
Yeah. Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
applicable even today
Yes.
as we're
Oh,
speaking
yes. Oh,
right now.
100%.
Yeah.
I can attest to that. It is still 100% applicable. So hang on to that, guys. And when it happens, reach out to Edmund again and he'll help you out.
Mhm.
But I actually got my ad account banned the first time because I ran ads for that client. Yeah. So after that, I told her, I say like, hey, I really enjoy working with you, but I cannot continue doing this because it's
Mhm.
very clearly stated in the Facebook advertising policy, you
Mhm.
cannot advertise for MLM.
Mhm.
So we stopped working, but 5 years later until today, because of the work I've done with her, I actually managed to get other clients as well.
As a
So,
referral, right?
hmm?
As a referral, right?
No, not as a referral, but just from the results that I got from there. So once I got these results,
Mhm.
I put it into my case study. I created a
Oh, right.
portfolio. Yeah. So then I started doing outreach and telling people like, hey, I actually helped this person get this amount of leads, and then she closed this amount of sales, and this is how much she made back in terms of revenue, and that really opened the doors for me.
I think
Uh,
what you're sharing here is very on point because I think a lot of beginners, right, which again, it's nobody's fault. I remember when I was a beginner myself, the first thing I want to do is like, I want to make money, right? But
yeah.
what you did here is actually you were using it as a prong or a stepping board for something long term because
Oh
your
yes,
first
definitely.
client or your first few clients were, it's not really there for you to profit. It's more like just build up your mode for
Portfolio, your
portfolio. Yes,
portfolio, yes, your
portfolio building,
portfolio.
and you use that to actually fish out the bigger clients after that.
Yeah. So that's why I said here, like just always offer value upfront first, right? And how I started was I said I work for free for 14 days.
Mhm.
And we get results and we can sign for the full month, else we just go our separate ways. But
Mhm.
what Edmund says is true. So like, but then charge a certain fee as well. So this is my learning
Mhm.
actually, because If you can do
Mhm.
the work and you've gotten results, just charge a minimal fee that you at least be happy with first, because it's commitment on their end as well.
Mhm.
Because I realized at one point also, like, I was like playing around. I said yes to everybody. I really said yes to everybody. And at
Mhm.
one point I was having like 10 different clients, all by myself. Yeah. And then some were absolute nightmare. And the ones who were absolute nightmares were the ones who actually didn't put the money down. So they came up with a very nice deal with me. They say like, oh, but let's just do profit share, like, if we get a good deal, then I can share my profit with you. I didn't get a single cent. They had no skin in the game.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't do it again, and I wouldn't advise anyone to do it as well. Just
Thanks
ask
for
for the
sharing on that
yeah,
validation as well, because
yeah.
I think profit share comes with territory. It requires both
Oh,
partners to put
definitely.
skin in the game.
For
So
sure, for
yeah, I think
sure.
from your what you shared here, just be careful of people that speak a big game. Yeah, but if you don't see the money,
Yeah.
yeah, be careful. Yeah.
Yeah, so just a nominal fee, just something that they commit to, and like Edmund said, like
Mhm.
honestly at that time when I charged, and I'll be happy to share as well, I only charged like 800 ringgit,
Mhm.
which works out to
Malaysian
about
ringgit, yeah,
200
all right.
Malaysian ringgit, so that works out to about 200 US dollars
USD at the time, yeah.
at that time, like 200 US
Mhm.
dollars. But to me, that was my first internet money.
Yeah. Amazing,
And I can
amazing.
tell you that that first
Yeah.
internet money, you really feel validated, and then you feel like, oh, okay,
Mhm.
this is actually possible,
Mhm. Yeah, that's
uh
amazing. Okay.
yeah.
If you don't mind me, just like pressing on like to a bit of a follow-up question. I know it's been addressed in some capacity. You talk about focus, talk about, just do it, don't care too much about, what your mind is screaming. But I still feel that I want to bring this up, not because of me personally, but a lot of beginners, right? And myself at that point in time, I guess if I brought my first version of myself, I will also ask the same thing. Clearly when you first ran this, right? When you got the first client, it's a bit of a very sticky situation because on one hand, right, you struggle to get client because you haven't got any results yet, and the reason you haven't got any results yet is because you haven't got a client yet. So it's a
It's
very
a
weird,
yeah, it's a
it's a
catch
weird,
22.
yeah, catch 22. So it's a weird position to be in. So yeah, I also remember we had this chat as well. Like, and the reason why you did this in the first place was because you didn't have like a lot of capital to run for your own offer at that point in time. So,
Yep.
if I were to call it, nowadays people call it imposter syndrome, right? But what's
Oh
the,
yes.
the worst thing that can happen is like you really are an imposter at that point in time.
Yeah.
So how do you like talk to yourself out of it?
Talk
What was
myself out of imposter syndrome.
Yeah, at that point in time?
Oh, it's a very good question. Eh. I think it still fell back on to
Yeah,
number one,
yeah.
have a plan.
Mhm.
Edmund, I'm going to tell you even right now, after having so many wins, right, and when I had to sit down and do this, and I did a bit of a stock check of what I've done, right, I've actually helped people make millions in Malaysia, in Singapore, in Australia, in America, in UK, and like I have quite a bit of wins under my belt. I still have imposter syndrome. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
sugarcoat. I still feel like I'm not good enough. I still feel like, hey, am I doing the right thing or not? But ultimately, like I said, if you have a plan, stick to the plan, right? You will still have imposter syndrome, right? Number two, you know what you know. And this is something I told myself, right? As long as I know what I know, just keep going. There will be a lot of things I still don't know. It's a continuous learning process, right? So, and hang on to your portfolio. So, and that was one thing I actually didn't do in the early stages. Like right now, I actually created a Google document. Whatever little wins I have, whether a client say like, "Wow, the ad you wrote was so amazing," or like, "Awesome guys, we did 7 figures last month again." I will take a screenshot and I'll actually paste it in that Google document. So on the days that I feel down, I would actually just go and revisit. I'm like, okay, don't forget you've actually done this before. You've done this before. So that's how I overcome it now. But back then I think it was just stick to your plan, keep focus, right? And like I say, like at the time my why was very big lah. Because I was doing this for my family, I was doing this for my wife and daughter, right? I needed to make this work. So as long as you have a good why, you have a strong goal and determination, you will definitely break through all these issues lah.
Oh, that's great to hear that your family has like, quite a huge role that they play in your
Massive, yeah,
success to
massively.
date as well. And I like that you have a what some people call a brag book actually. Okay, may not be like a
Yes.
book in itself, but
Yeah.
I do that as well. But I was also taught by a mentor as well. We call it a brag book,
Yeah, I've
BRAG.
heard it. Yeah, or
Yeah,
brag
so
sheet, you know.
yeah, exactly. But it's not because you want to be a pompous bag or be a
No.
loop, but it's more like, when we overcome or sometimes you doubt yourself, you kind of like forget that you used to do all that, like, oh, I
Yes.
did all that before. And I think, with a lot of distractions, a lot of hoodwinking going on, sometimes we
Oh,
forget that
yes.
what we're really capable of. And I think,
Yes.
it's just as I'm listening to you, right, I'm also reminded of like some things, right, that I haven't personally done in quite a while as well. It's just enlightening talking to you about this as well. Now, with that being said, right, I think this has been answered in a way as well, because I was going to ask you how you managed to land your client number two, number three, number four, and so on. But maybe I just want to rephrase that part a little bit,
Sure,
because
sure.
I think there's this like very linear mindset, right, which I think you may have thought that way as a beginner last time. Uh, do you have this worry, right, that after I get this one client, how am I going to get client number two? Will I
Mm.
run out of clients one day? If I can get three clients this month, right, can I get another three next month? Will it be, did I just get lucky this time around? Do you have that worry as well? And how do you like springboard from that, to the 10 clients you talked about? Like, okay, I know you had a bit of misgivings not to just go for any other client, but how do you manage to like continuously, confidently get new clients after this?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like, I'll just share this again, right?
Yeah.
So, if you have no case studies and no backing,
Hmm.
offer to work for free first,
Hmm.
right? Get some small wins and then use those as leverage, right? Like I said, doesn't matter how small it is, right? Even if it's on a small ad spend, a couple of hundred ringgit, just take those and then start going and use that as leverage. Uh, I would honestly tell you, even up to this point also, I still worry I cannot get clients.
Mm.
You still worry one at the end of the day. You will still have that worry, like but like I said, that's why whether it's a brag sheet, whether it's a brag book or whatever that you have, that has really helped me over the years. And number two is also helped me in the sense that like if people wanted to see some case studies or want to see some examples of what you have done, and it's just easy to pull those out as well. So you see. So like I said, keep leveraging the wins and then keep updating your portfolio. Right. And also keep writing. Right. So keep writing as well. So, but in the
Okay, we
early
say
days,
writing, like, are you talking about posting or is it like personal notes or what?
both.
Both,
So
huh?
what
All right.
what I do now is more
Mm-hmm.
systemized. I actually, and with AI as well. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually voice note myself.
Mm.
So I use an iPhone. I mean, I'm sure you can do this on Samsung or whatever phone as well. So
Right.
on the Apple, you have a notes feature. So on the notes, you can actually just record a voice note. So whatever thoughts I have, sometimes when I'm at the gym or when I'm walking, I just like voice note. Or sometimes when I'm driving as well. So I leave a voice note, and then when I'm done, when I'm in front of my laptop, I take it out. I take the voice note, I put it into AI and say like, just clean it up for me. So that is 100% my voice, 100% my thoughts. AI just removes the like
Right, the
piece
brain parts.
everything. Yeah,
Okay.
and then like they just piece things together, because sometimes your thoughts are all over the place and all, and then you just have to tidy up. So yeah, write personal notes. I still do sharings on my wall and stuff like that. So you
Your
just have
Facebook
to
profile, yeah?
on my Facebook profile, yeah. So you just constantly have to and network,
Mhm.
right? Obviously, once you get to know more people, you work with more people, you start to open up different doors as well. So lah, yeah,
Oh, that's really enlightening to hear. So I know we've been talking about technically we can call this organic marketing, because initially
to
you
some
started
extent.
off with posting on with the five likes on your FB profile. But maybe I'd just like to ask a little bit more detail about what you're doing today in terms of like, okay, because we talk about Facebook profile, do you post on LinkedIn as well, Instagram, or what have you?
Yeah, so right now,
Yeah.
honestly, I've slacked a bit on my organic posting, but at its peak,
Mhm.
I was actually writing. I will write a post on Facebook,
Mhm.
and then I will chop it up, and then I'll post on Twitter, and
Mhm.
then I will actually just take the same post, and then I post it on LinkedIn as well.
Oh,
whatever I wrote for Facebook, I will just post it on LinkedIn as well. So lah. But
got it.
in all honesty, I've not fully utilized LinkedIn yet lah.
I see. So
Yeah.
based on your current business, right? Where is majority of your source of clients and prospects coming from? Is it still Facebook, or what about Twitter, as we call it X today,
Yep.
and LinkedIn? Yeah, I know you just said LinkedIn is a bit underutilized, but
Yep.
maybe just give a bit of a ranking for yourself.
So right now, Facebook is definitely still the top.
Mhm.
Because I started with Facebook about 5 years ago, so I'm still
Right.
using it because I've also built a network to some extent,
Mhm.
right? And then I also post very regularly, or I respond to comments by giving value in
Mhm.
like local Facebook groups, in international Facebook groups. Like I actually offer proper value as well.
Right.
So people actually a lot of them come through Facebook. Of course, right now, because in 5 years I've worked with so many different people already, right?
Mhm.
So like when you work with certain people in certain companies, then eventually they leave and they go to a different company, then they go like, hey, I remember Mark can do paid ads. Okay, let me go and reach out to him.
Right.
So I would say Facebook and referrals right now is the most. And then
Raffles. Okay.
I still respond to job posts as well.
Mhm.
Sometimes people still look for agencies or people who want to do digital marketing and
Oh,
ads
I
and
see
all.
your comments every now and then
Yeah, so I
in
still
some groups that
respond.
we're in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I still respond to those as well. So so yeah, that's where I actually get my clients from now.
Yeah, I can respect that hustle over there uh because sometimes in some mutual groups that you and I are in, I won't go and interrupt, but I see your name is there. And now whether you got that job or not, I think that's like a separate matter. But what I kind of
Correct.
like admire what you did here is that you don't give it a lot of thought. You just go in, let the person decide. But most importantly, you don't miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And I like that
Yes.
attitude of yours.
Yeah.
So, like some people, sometimes I don't know about you, but some of us tend to make fun of people from third world countries. They write in a very funny English, but I think we kind of forget, right, that despite all their flaws, they
They're shooting
just
their
soldier
shots,
on.
man.
Yeah, they're just
Yes.
shooting, and they're coming from, some of the successful people are coming from countries that we maybe least expect. And I'm not saying this in a very
Yes.
xenophobic way, but I'm thinking to myself, I think these are something that we can learn from them as well. And
$100%.
I like what you're doing here because you're posting in places whereby, look, whether the client picks you or not, I think that remains to be seen. But you're putting your shots out there and you're lighting up. I think most people out there, who are watching this, no offense, some people are just not putting in your visibility out there. You're not putting yourself out there enough, but you're hoping people look for you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's right.
so we thought about, okay, you were posting, right? What I may have like almost forgot is, let's talk about friends and followers, because I remember that when we first worked together, you had a concert at a time where your Facebook was like, it's not optimized for this kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
It was like you're probably talking about like church or something like that, right? Suddenly you talk about business,
Yes.
it feels a bit funny. So maybe, right? Um, do you remember how many friends slash followers you had at the time and how many you have right now? Like, what was the growth
Wow.
like?
At that time, I probably only had like maybe like 700 to 800, and those were
Mhm.
very close friends and family to me.
Yeah.
So when they started seeing my posts also, they were like, oh, what's going on? Like, did something happen to Mark or whatever? And I will never forget this, Edmund. I remember I said to you also,
Yeah.
I said it's gonna be weird. And then you say, like, yes, it is gonna be weird. But if you keep posting, they will eventually know that you're not playing a fool and you're serious about what you're doing.
Correct.
And I'm like, it's almost prophetic. I'm serious because I met up with a couple of friends after that, and then they eventually saw what I did. And during our catch ups, they were like, they actually literally said whatever you said. They said, Mark, when we first saw your first few posts, we thought like, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, is this a joke? They didn't say it was a scam. Like, they knew it wasn't a scam because they knew it was from me. But to them, they were like, hey, is this a joke? Like, is this guy serious or not? Like, why he suddenly talk about marketing? But because I consistently posted non-stop, like maybe not every day, but every other day, there
Mhm.
will at least be 3 to 4 posts a week when I
Mhm.
started. Right. So after 6 months to 1 year, they start to go like, oh wait, okay, Mark is actually quite serious about this now. Like,
Right.
oh, okay, he's actually like
Makes wonders, right? When you retrain people's
100%,
expectations.
yeah, 100%. So, but then now I have like 1,000 to 1,005 kind of people in my network. But
Wow.
I will say this:
Mhm.
don't simply go and add people just to get a lot of people on your Facebook profile,
Mhm.
right? You should add
Mhm.
people like who you think you can potentially do business with, but don't treat people like a transaction. Don't like, oh, I'm just going to add Edmund because I think I can make money from Edmund. Like, okay, Edmund is a business owner. I potentially could do business with Edmund, but let me see. He's quite an interesting character. Okay, I'm gonna add him now. So that has been my philosophy since day one. And it's worked out quite well for me, lah, right? I don't simply pitch people in their DMs. I just post. Then because we are friends, right? So they will see my postings as well, you see. So then eventually they reach out to me and go like, "Hey, I saw you mention about something like this. Like I would like to know more." So that's how I get clients right now as well, also, lah.
That's great to hear. And Mark, I think that what you say here is also a bit of validation as well, because a lot of people, when I say a lot, because I get this every now and then, I'm sure you do as well. Your post, can we say that most of the time is set to a public privacy public most of the time,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes, yes.
Got
Right now,
it.
yes, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Now, I'm not sure if there's anything else you want to add here because I have sort of like a follow-up question for you here. And we talked
Yep.
about fees just now because you said that you started off with a simple 200 USD or 800 Malaysian ringgits, right? But if it's not too of a private question to ask, and you can just give a ballpark, it doesn't have to be exact. Like, what are your fees and pricing like right now since you do agency work?
Now it varies actually.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously with overseas clients, we don't have like a one size fit all lah.
Mm-hmm.
Right, because with overseas clients, sometimes they want to bring me in as like a fractional CMO,
Mm-hmm.
or even as a consultant as well. So my prices range anywhere from 2,000 US dollars all the way up to 8,000 US dollars right now.
2 to 8K, yeah.
2 to
All
8K
right.
USD.
And
Yeah.
how long did it take for you to like confidently charge around that level? Because you went from $200
Mm.
only, right? You 10x, So how long did it take for you
Yeah.
to like build that? I was
That
gonna say
confidence actually. Yeah.
balls of steel, like some was call it balls of steel or that
To some
alpha male
extent.
confidence to get there, right? How do you 10x?
Yeah.
How long did it take to you get there?
I would say at least 3 to 4 years,
Three to
honestly.
four years. Got
Yeah,
it.
and it's a gradual thing, by the way.
Got it.
If you're thinking it's not something that you wake up next week and go like, oh, I'm gonna charge someone 8,000 US dollars, because overseas and internationally, like especially in America, and
Mm-hmm.
right now I'm slowly building my reputation in Australia as well. Like in America, I've worked with some of pretty big names in the make money online space, or
Mm-hmm.
the American calls it biz op lah. They call it business opportunity, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've worked with quite a few big names in America, and because of that and the work I've done there, I can command higher prices lah. But when I
Mm-hmm.
started working with those guys, then I still took back. I mean, it was decent,
Mm-hmm.
but comparatively, it was still peanuts as well. But I didn't
Mm-hmm.
care. See, at the time, I'm like, I don't care because like I may not be earning from you, but I'm actually, being able to use this case study moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So like what I shared earlier, leverage. It's all about leverage,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you start to get bigger clients as you climb. Yeah.
And just curious, because you work with international clients while living in Malaysia, right?
Yep.
I'm not gonna say okay, not xenophobia, but it's more like you work with some of these clients from international, right? Did you face any situation whereby they see you're from an Asian country, right? They expect you to be cheaper?
I would
Has that
say
ever a
no.
reason?
I
No,
mean,
huh? All right.
yes, yes and no. I would say yes and no. Of course, there were some people who say like, "Wow, you charge so much."
Mm-hmm.
Then I always try to take the conversation away from how much it is then to the value I can offer lah. Because
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, no matter how we price it, for us here in Asia, we can still price it slightly lower than the people over there,
Mm-hmm.
just slowly based on conversion, right? So I think this comes down to business acumen really lah, at the end of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
I honestly right now my rates are probably on par with the Americans and the locals there already.
Nice.
Yeah, but I mean on almost like why I say almost because I know for a fact that if they hired
Mm-hmm.
locally there, they will probably
Mm-hmm.
have to pay a bit more
Mm-hmm.
than what they pay us. But when they pay us, I can almost guarantee they get out so much more value.
Right.
Because yeah, because it's a lot of money to us after you make a conversion,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, that's right. I think the reason why I'm asking you this, right, because for two reasons. Because on one hand, right, we have an advantage living in Southeast Asia. It's
Yes.
it's a nice place to still be in. Within 3 4 hours, right, you can go to a lot of nice destination, and the cost of
That's
living
right.
here is comparatively lesser to let's say a tier one country. And then on
For
the other
sure,
hand as
for
well,
sure.
is that we are seeing a rise of our own expertise in Southeast Asia. It's not the same as it was like maybe 10 years ago or 20 years ago for that matter. I bring this up because this may not be articulated in public, right? But you probably heard the whispers at the back as well, maybe in private messages or one-to-one, right? There's this concern where, if they see it's an Asian person or maybe from a lesser country, it feels inferior, if you know what I mean. And just hearing this from you,
Mm,
right, I think it's quite uplifting for everyone here because it goes to show it doesn't matter where you really come from or what your ethnicity might actually be.
yes.
I like to think that the internet has democratized wealth, but you have to grab it.
No, for sure. And you have to overcome that mind block because a lot of times it is a mind block. As long
Mhm,
as you can speak good English,
mhm,
and I speak maybe specifically to the Malaysians as well, because for Malaysians we don't really have an accent to
mhm,
some extent.
mhm,
If you do, honestly, it's not a deal killer as well. I've worked with amazing people in America who hire people who have like stronger accents, but they don't pay less for the rates as well because
Mhm.
they know what they're doing, right? At the end of the day,
Mhm.
I mean, I have the words here for you, lah, like
All right.
experience, 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 lah. You
Mhm.
got to stack the wins, right? Again, you don't have to oversell yourself. Just sell your wins, right? Just sell your wins, Sell your wins, share with people what you've done.
Mhm.
If you can speak good English, you can communicate good English. Having an accent, honestly, is not a showstopper as well. So,
Mhm.
honestly speaking, and just be super responsive. Because I think the one thing about the online space is that because we don't see each other, right? So, like whether the client is texting in Slack or whether it's an email, always respond. Even if I can't give an answer, I will still tell my client, like, I'll get back to you by whatever it is, you know, even if I can't. So I think all these little things add up and then it gives people the confidence as well, also, and it really sets you apart, I'll say.
I'm just, hearing this from you, right? I can see why why you're successful compared to most people is because I think you realize by now we are working in a market where there are a lot of scammers and there are a lot of people that don't keep their word. So just by keeping your word, right?
Oh,
You are already
yes.
just by keeping your word, you're already ahead of most people, And I think
100%.
every time you speak and write, it carries more weight. And I
100%.
feel like these are things that a book or a video course can't teach you, you know.
Yes.
And I think that
Yes.
this is what like sets you apart from the rest. Because guys, for those of you who are listening to this, I know you're here, you want to hear strategy. Yeah, we're gonna get in a bit of like technical details in a while because we're gonna talk about Facebook ads in particular. Because Mark over the years he developed his own style. Yeah, he may have learned under me, but along the way he became his own person. So he will probably have like some new perspective to bring to the table. But let's talk about something a bit more human, right? And you've been listening to Mark for like I think like more than half an hour, 40 minutes or so, and you get the air that what gives this business like the profit and success is also the human element, yeah, especially all the more so now with
100%.
AI. I
We,
think AI just makes it like it's good in its own way, but people are forgetting authenticity. So it's not just about artificial intelligence, but where's the authentic individual to it, AI plus AI, all right. So if you don't mind me, right, I want to go to a bit more to the technical side, and
sure.
I'm a bit biased because I know a lot of beginners, right? They may not like this part, but for some people who like really into it, yeah, I think that's where the fun really begins. So okay, anyways, I won't get too carried away for everyone's benefit here. So right, I'm just gonna home in on Facebook as in particular. I won't talk about anything else. So whether you context again, you're running usually for make money online slash general business niche, just to keep it simple for everyone, right?
Can.
So for targeting for your maybe can you just give a brief run through of how you set up your campaign ad set and ads?
Honestly,
Yeah,
Edmund, I still set up the same way you taught me five
still
years
the
ago.
same, yeah.
Still the
All right.
same way.
Yeah, maybe just
So
share with everyone again, just like give a
yeah,
bit
so
of
like
like
just
confirmation.
one campaign, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many ad sets really depends on how much money you have for your testing and for your running, right? So, but
Mm-hmm.
essentially it's one campaign, one ad set,
Mm-hmm.
and then just have three different ads within the same ad set.
You still do that too, yeah?
I
So,
still do
right,
that to
do
today.
you do your, when people talk about CBO and ABO, right? That means
Yep,
campaign budget optimization versus
yep,
ad set budget optimization. So, do
yep.
you still do a CBO or ABO right now?
Okay, so just for you guys,
Mm-hmm.
just stick to ABO first.
ABO,
I
yeah?
do use CBO on a personal level, but I don't know whether I want to share here, then I don't know whether I'll confuse people or not.
Right. But
So
I mean,
just stick
keeping
to
simple, you still go
ABO.
with ABO. Okay,
Yeah,
got it.
just
Yeah,
go with ABO.
sometimes, for those of you listening, no offense, sometimes when I say some things again and again, you might be a bit skeptical because you're hearing one perspective. Now you're hearing another one. He's telling you the same thing. All right.
I can even tell you this.
Yeah.
Like one of the accounts we are managing now, we are spending up to 1,500 Australian dollars per day,
Per day. Wow.
and we are
Right.
still using ABO there. We are
Yeah,
still using
you heard
ABO.
it, right?
Yeah, we are still using
Okay.
ABO. Yeah.
So okay, we talk about campaign, right? I think campaign quite straightforward. Yeah. Let's talk about on the ad set level. Very interesting. Yeah. This is a bit of debate. I'm also testing my funding here as well. In one ad set, right? Do you target one country or do you target multiple now?
So this one is a very good question. It
I think it's a bit
really
contested.
depends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's highly contested, and from my
Okay.
personal experience, I would say both method works, but it really depends on what you're pushing.
Mm-hmm.
Personally,
Mm-hmm.
personally, I still prefer to just do one ad set, one country.
Still do. Yeah. Okay.
Not even that. I even do one campaign, one country.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I like if I'm going to do another country, I'm just going to set up a different campaign. But have I done one campaign, one ad set, 5 countries, I
Mhm.
have. And
Mhm.
I have gotten results as well. So
Right.
yeah, but I
Okay,
think
so maybe I'll give you the case study here right now because I
sure,
guess if I told you it's a webinar, yeah, it's very easy. Just put one country,
one
right?
country.
We
Yep.
kind of know it already. But let's talk about AC funnel. Okay, so guys, I know if you
Yep.
don't wonder what AC is, not aircon. Yeah, there's this guy called Alan Sotanek who popularized this term called automatic clients,
Yep.
which admittedly it's not a new concept. It's been there in one form or another from time immemorial. So basically, right, you run your Facebook ad to a sales page for a low ticket offer. That's basically what it is. So right, but the thing is about this low ticket digital products, right, is that I know it's not very comforting to say this. Literally anyone can buy, right? It could be someone from
Yes.
Malaysia, it could be someone from Singapore, it could be someone from US, it could be someone from Canada and what have you. But at the same time, everybody usually starts on a limited budget. So even in the best case scenario, you're starting with what Mark says, 1,500 Australian dollars a day. In the grand scheme of things, it's actually peanuts in an ocean, So and most people start with less than that. We're talking about 5-10 USD a day equivalent. So in this scenario, right, how would you structure your ad set?
If I'm doing a low ticket, right?
Yeah, if you don't
And
low
this,
ticket and you don't have a lot of budget, you don't have 1,500 right now. Maybe you got 5, 10, 20 USD a day,
let's say
perhaps.
20. Let's say we go with 20, right?
Okay,
I
yeah.
would I would just go with the country that the coach is from first. Because that's exactly what I did as
Oh,
well.
coach, I said
So
the client you're working with, right?
yeah, the client. So whoever you're
So if
working
I'm your
with,
client, you just go in Malaysia, lah.
just go in Malaysia. Just
All
start
right.
with Malaysia first. Build up a base, build up some traction there.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, now I'm just going to talk from a Malaysia perspective, lah. I'm not going to talk about internationally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if you're a Malaysian coach, let's say for you, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
20 US dollar is equivalent to about 80
80,
ringgit.
yeah. 80,
Let's just call
100,
it
yeah.
80, right? Let's just
Right.
call it 80. 80 a day. But if you do 80 a day in Malaysia, it's a fair amount. 80 ringgit is a fair
Yeah.
amount in our market. But if you do 20 US dollars in America,
Mm-hmm.
you you're going to be trampled, man.
Right, because the
You know,
CPM is a bit of a killer over
it's a
there.
killer, number one.
Yeah.
Number two, right? 20 US dollar a day, you're going to maybe take like 4 days before you get one purchase.
Right.
Maybe if you're lucky, depending on
Mhm.
your offer and what you're actually
Okay,
selling
now
as
let's
well.
just say for
So
the fun of it, the product price $20. Just keep it simple right now. So if does the CPA of times four still apply today?
yes,
Still does, huh?
I
All
still
right.
do. I do it loosely to some extent, but because with the AC funnel, I don't know how much the rest of the viewers understand. The AC funnel
Mm-hmm.
is an ascension, right? So you start with low ticket, and then you have an upsell one, and then you have an upsell two. You see, ultimately, if you go through the entire ascension, the average order value should come up to about $100 to $200.
Mm-hmm.
If you can hit $100 to $200, then that funnel is going to be profitable upfront, right? So at $20, if it's 4 times CPA, you can still afford a 80 ringgit cost per acquisition. Sorry, $80 cost per acquisition.
Mm-hmm.
But when I ran AC funnels like mad, I ran like almost 10 to 20 AC
Matt who?
funnels. No, like crazy. Sorry, not mad. Like because
Okay,
I work
MAD. Okay, all right.
mad, like mad, like
Okay.
we want to try to get the cost per acquisition anywhere between 50 to $70. $80 is okay if you have a very good back end.
Mm-hmm.
If your high ticket is solid, then you can do at 80. Anything more is going to be very tough to be profitable. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I think the numbers that I know every now and then you do realize, right? The longer you do this, you also start to question whether some things may have changed along the way. What last year may not be the same this year,
Oh,
and some
definitely.
things may also remain the same as well. So it's good to know that you also have your own perspective. You work with more clients than I do right now. In fact, I would say that when I did Facebook ads, right, before COVID, yeah, you get that how different that was already. Even
Mm,
the clients were local, offline business. So you have the opportunity to do this for uh, internationally as well. And the fact is that they are usually an online business themselves. So
yes,
even
that's
for
right.
me, by the time I start doing it for myself, right, it's like, yeah, I just keep it to myself and do it for my own webinars, my own low ticket offers and what have you. Okay, so we talked about. Okay, what about placements? Because you notice in the recent times, right? There's also threads, and
Yep.
there's what's the other one more? There's one more box that I got entered. So you got the audience network, you got the Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, you got threads. I think there's like a few of them. So do you check all the boxes or do you like uncheck some of them,
Right now, I just check everything.
including threads as well?
Everything. I just whack everything in
Do
because
you find that any of those placements like give good leads or good conversions?
s- uh we've not tracked down to that specific level yet.
Right.
We've not tracked down to that specific level yet because to really track down
Mm-hmm.
now, okay, I know a lot of us would rely on what Meta or Facebook
Mm-hmm.
reports to us from the ad account. I
Mm-hmm.
think it's a good enough place to start if you're starting
Mm-hmm.
off.
Right.
But because like right now when we manage so high ad spend per day, we actually use third-party softwares to look at all these things as well. So lah. So on the grander scheme of things, we
Mm-hmm.
realize that we rather fast over constantly producing new ads than figuring out like which placements would give us the best CPMs and
Makes
cost per
sense, makes
clicks.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think in this part, maybe you and I can disagree about the placement part, but I think it's a very petty argument about that because I
I
would
wouldn't
agree
say
with, yeah,
no, I wouldn't say it's
yeah.
petty. I think it's
Mm,
an argument or it's a topic
mm,
worth talking about. But
mm,
maybe if you're starting off, I wouldn't focus my energy on that yet.
got it.
Especially when you're starting off, focus on your energy on creating better ads, doing, recording for your ads, figuring out how else you can, write your copy and all these other things. I think, you can focus because you have to understand when I work and when we do all these things, we have a team of like 4 to 5 people,
Mm.
and there's a lot more that I can do, like right now I still do paid ads, but I actually have a media buyer that works with me as well, so, right?
Full time or a project basis?
Project basis.
Project
Project
basis.
basis. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I said because like I moved into a more management role if you must lah.
Mm-hmm.
A more management role if you must lah. So I have to handle more of this number stuff on a higher level now. So yes, we do that, but I have to be realistic with you. There's a team of 4 to 5 of us, plus a funnel builder, plus a specialist who can track based on GTM, Google Tag Manager. Yeah, so not many people have this resource at their
True that.
disposal. Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. How do you find all these people? Huh? I mean, this like you have your own
Over the
like
years,
Avengers team. Oh, so
just over the years.
it just came naturally as a result of what you previously mentioned. You joined some Facebook groups and
Yeah, for sure.
during COVID bopian also as well, you can meet them in person also, right? So
Yeah,
everything you just had to do online.
yeah,
And can we just say it was just a natural connection? If the vibes just drive, you just go with them, right?
for sure. And like I said, don't treat people like transactions.
Mm,
Like Edmund said, in the world of AI, and I think the one thing I think people always drop the ball on when they say they think like, oh, online advertising is just about numbers on the screen. But you have to understand this, each number of the screen is a real person on the other end of the screen. No?
totally agreed.
Yeah. So and as marketers, we need to think that way. So like how I said, I just over the years just meet people, just say hi. It's not about whether I can make money from them or not. It's like, oh, hey, you got a very interesting skill set. Okay, just chat, and you just gather people along the way.
All right. Okay, one more thing about this before I move on to I think I like 10 ultimate question here because we talked about the Facebook ads, right? So we've talked about the campaign. I think that's quite straightforward. Ad set, nice to hear you have like a slightly different takeover there. I mean, not saying there's anything wrong with it because I think at the end of the day, it's more like art, art can be interpreted somehow.
Something like that
Yeah,
lah.
but one thing we find common ground on is that at the end of the day, ad creatives are probably the most important, right? After the
Ooh,
offer, of course. And
100%,
what's your
yes.
approach like? You say you run 3 ads at a time, right? But what are they like? Are they like images, videos, or like what's your thought process with them?
Okay, so again, when it comes to this, really depends on how much resource and time you can deploy to test, right? For us right now, I'll share with you what I do now,
Mm,
right? At least I share with you what we do at a very like maybe a much higher level and a higher ad spend. We actually do image and video, but we
mhm.
separate them. So we have an ad set just for images, and then we have an ad set just for videos. And
Right.
then what I do now as well, so because I still write a lot of copy. So I'll write one copy, one ad, right? And then for that ad, we'll have like 2 to 3 iterations of the same image. Maybe with a different headline, maybe with a different color, maybe with a different visual hook. Okay. So I just give you an example, like I'm working with a crypto coach, and
Mhm,
they're feeling very bearish for a certain coin. So one image can have like a bear right up front,
mhm.
and then the image two is like just a bear walking at the side with like, a cute bubble that says like feeling bearish on this coin, So you just have to be very creative, and all this will then come back to just one ad copy. So if I have 3 ad copy, I have 9 ads.
So can we
But
say like one ad copy has like 3 different images somehow?
to some extent, yeah. And
Okay, it's
then
like a
that
1 to 3 going on, right?
something like that. And then for each ad copy, I have a video ad as well. So but so
Oh,
like I
okay.
said, but you have to understand because we are spending one thousands of dollars a day So we need a lot of creatives, right? And number two, like I said, because we have the resources and we have the team to
Can
do
you
it.
explain to the others why is it important to have more creatives as your ad spend gets higher?
For sure, because you burn through your creatives a lot faster,
Mhm.
right? Because when you so it all comes down to CPM and how many people see your ads as well,
Mhm.
right? If you spend $20 a day, you need how many days? 50 days if I maths? No. Is it 50 days? Yeah, 50
Mhm.
50 days to reach dollars
Right.
in ad spend,
To
right?
reach those people, yeah.
To reach $1,000 in ad spend, 50 days.
Mhm.
So what you do in 50 days takes us 1 day.
Right.
So essentially you can refresh after maybe 50 days, you can refresh
So
your
basically, when we're saying that
yeah.
ad fatigue will happen faster with that audience population, right?
For sure, for sure, for
Right.
sure. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And how often do you have like a systematic time when do you rotate ads? When do you choose the winner and the loser?
Yes. Right now
Mhm.
for a specific client, we do it every Monday. So every Monday we do a stock check of the last 7 days. Because
Mhm.
again, like I said, this is a huge caveat here.
Mhm.
Because we spend thousands a day,
Mhm.
right? So within a week, we would have spent like 7 to 8 thousand, $9,000 within a week.
Mhm.
So by then we would have a lot of leading indicators and lagging indicators to tell us what's working and what's not working already.
Mhm.
Right. So every Monday we do a stock check. We say like this angle works, this iteration works. Okay, let's do more iterations of this. So then what I do is like the winning ad
Mhm.
obviously maintains because like it's exactly like how you taught us as well. Keep the winner, turn off the rest. From the winner, make an iteration, right? And then the third ad, throw in a completely brand new angle, throw in something that's completely different altogether, and just keep cycling. It's in the boring work. It's not
Right.
exciting, but honestly,
But hey, it works,
that's how we
right?
do it. That's how we do it, man.
That's amazing to hear. Okay, you know what, Mark? I feel weird to leave this question for the last because I imagine if we started out this way, some people will hit the snooze button because when you mention the word mindset, right? People are like, oh, this is some woo-woo personal development stuff. Some people
I
respond to
understand.
it a bit negatively, but I think at the same time, right? We talk about strategies, we talk about like what's our process like. We talk about some technical details, right? But I think you also know that the most important muscle that you or anyone can train is still your mind at the end of the day. And I'm just curious to know like how did you we talk about focus and all that, right? But surely it's easier to say now compared to when your sports flooring business was like in the drain. And you also probably you had a bit of like disagreements with your wife at that point of time. And I think it's an understatement also. And it feels like everything was against you somehow. All right, how do you keep yourself in check or maybe in the best state of mind possible? Like when the going gets really, really tough, especially in the COVID times, I think it's the worst time possible, uncertainties. And what I find amazing, right, is that you went from not spending, barely spending anything, even for your client, to now you're managing like what you say here, 1,500 Australian dollars a day. And that's just one client. Probably you
That's
have like
just
few
one
other clients
client.
as well.
Yeah.
How do you like expand your mind, right, to handle that kind of volume of money, even though it may not be yours?
Honestly, it didn't happen overnight lah.
Mm-hmm.
You slowly start. I also started managing like 20, 30, 50, $100 a day,
Mm-hmm.
100 ringgit first,
Yeah.
right? And then after that to 500 ringgit, then to 1,000 ringgit, and then after that, 1,000 ringgit is equivalent to about 200 US dollars a day. So
Right.
you slowly build your confidence over time. Number one, right? You slowly build a confidence. Number two, community, right? I think Edmund has a community here. We have people of varying levels, and I think I would just want to echo what you said last time to us as well, Edmund. Like, don't compare yourself to people who are at level 10 when you're at level 1, right? Make it more aspirational than oh, why am I not there? If you keep your head down, you stay focused and you do the work, you will eventually get there. So getting the communities also help. And like I said, just really building the confidence over the years, lah, honestly. And then once you have your wins, because I didn't like overnight, manage thousands of dollars of ad spend per day. See, like it took me like 3 years plus before I
Landed that
hit.
kind of level, right?
For sure, yeah.
Mhm.
Because then you can really trust. I think the most ad spend I actually managed was $8,000 a day.
Wow.
Just from one client. And we did that for 14 days straight because we had to fill up an in-person event. Uh so like within 14 days we spent close to like 100 over thousand US dollars at the time. But when that happened, I tell you, it was not easy for me to sleep also lah.
Yeah, I mean, it comes with territory as well. Because if you're
For
working at
sure.
that level, you have to expect that. But were you working alone on that, or was it like a group of you?
No, so that at that time I was the media buyer doing it. I was working with this other guy. Yeah, so it was like me. I was a media buyer. Then obviously there was a copywriter. There was a designer.
All right.
And then there was like a chief, marketer kind of person as well. So it was a team of
Mhm.
us. But handling the media buying alone was me.
Wow. Being in charge of handling 100K, I think technically it's 100K overall, right, for 14 days,
Overall,
yeah.
yeah,
And
US
it was
dollars.
an
Is
in-person event. Where was this
Yeah,
event in? Which
it's
country?
America. It's America.
In the
It
US.
was
Wow.
yeah.
Imagine being in Malaysia, but you're handling 100K for someone else in the US, which you probably have not been to before, right? Like that part of the world.
No, no. I mean, I've been to US, but not that specific
Not the specific part, right?
location. No, yeah, definitely
Yeah,
not.
exactly. I think that's just really crazy thinking about it. And hey, I just want to thank you so much for your time, Mark. And I
Sure
feel like
thing, man.
in as much as I would love to ask you more, actually, but what we have gathered so far in this hour or so, right? I think for the rest of you, don't think too much. Just freaking do it.
In short, like
Yeah,
there's a lot more things that Edmund can
yeah.
share. I'm not saying this just to make him feel good because honestly, I
Mhm.
learned a lot from Edmund. I really learned a lot from him, and a lot of what he has taught me, I still use today. And different levels, different devils. That's what I would
I
say
like
lah.
the term. Different levels,
Yeah.
different devils.
Different levels, different levels. Like, maybe most of you guys are still just starting out. You're probably
Mhm.
just spending your first $20 to $30 a day. Don't feel like, oh yeah, why am I so small? Like everybody starts small. Even the greatest guys like Jeff Bezos started from his own garage, lah. Like, like everybody starts small. Like, seriously, just start, keep your head down, stay focused, refer back to the community, refer back to what Edmund has taught. Because like I said, I honestly still use a lot of things that he's taught me, you see, and a lot of things is still evergreen. So yeah, and don't chase shiny object.
Yep, you've got it all right here already. And I just want to acknowledge something. I didn't want to like interject just now because I think most importantly, this is your moment to shine as well. And I feel that what you shared in the past hour or so, right, is also a validation on your efforts and your grit. Yeah, I mean, I know you've given me quite a fair bit of credit, but I also want to just remind everyone that success takes two hands to clap. Yes, I brought my own sort of like my guns to bear here as well. But you got to say that the other half was also being put by Mark himself. And uh, you see whether this has brought him, to a place that I think a lot of people would aspire to be. And I don't want to tell people, hey guys, it's not too late. In fact, you're still very much in time. And there's actually a lot more opportunities out there than our naked eyes can see or our minds can actually
100%.
comprehend. All right. So
100%.
Mark, I look forward to talk to you the next time around. And for the rest of you, hopefully, I'm looking forward to actually like interview you on this kind of like podcast as well, put you on a pedestal. Yeah. All right. So on that note, I'm not going to keep everyone here for too long. I'll see you when I see you. Take care.